Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the channel. Now, today I wanted to look at Meghan and Harry's children from a safeguarding point of view. Now, I know that there's lots of speculation about whether or not the children are theirs, whether they're adopted, and whether they even exist, but we're not going to focus on that today. I wanted to talk about the safeguarding aspect because there are a few photos that I find quite alarming. And also, there are many recycled photos that are appearing that seem to be from years and years prior to the recent date. For example, the picture that's been resurfaced of Lily for her birthday today. And today I wanted to touch on the implications of hiding your children away from the public eye and also their appearance, how they are appearing in pictures. I'm finding some of these shots quite off. So we know that Meghan Markle and her children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, are intentionally kept out of the public spotlight for several reasons. Harry and Meghan have stated that they want to keep them private for their own safety. They have not attended any official royal events, such as the Trooping of the Colour, and have been entirely absent from public-facing engagements since the family stepped back from their senior role and duties and they relocated to California. Now, they also haven't been seen in public. And the weird thing about this is that they haven't been seen in public at all, but yet everybody has a phone with a camera. And somebody somewhere would have caught a glimpse of them either going to the shops or going to the park, but that just hasn't happened. And that is very strange, especially in this day and age. They have also missed other royal events such as King Charles' coronation, and the children have never appeared at certain celebrations that have been held in London, including holidays at Balmoral. So the family have not joined the broader royal family for traditional gatherings or holidays in the UK since 2022. They've had zero interaction with their cousins and with other family members. And as we know, it takes a village to raise a child. We need these relationships with other adults. It builds a healthy character for that child. Meghan occasionally shares personal family photos or videos, and she has been doing this more so recently on Instagram. And most of these photos are of the back of these children's heads. She has made a conscious decision and a deliberate choice to strictly obscure or hide their faces. She has used Lily in recent social media posts and promotional content from her lifestyle brand as ever. If we can remember back, Harry was adamant that he was not going to have these children used for brand content. And it seems that Meghan is starting to use Lily just for that. They are consistently being shot from behind or captured in shadows or being photo edited in these bizarre pictures. Then the last time Archie's face was openly featured was in the 2022 Netflix documentary Harry and Meghan. Princess Lilibet's face has not been seen publicly since her first birthday portrait in 2022. It feels like these pictures that are put out are very carefully managed. And the problem with this is the tight control and constriction on what is going out in the public domain is raising more concerns. And for me, it's raising concerns. And I'll tell you as to why. So, with safeguarding, there are certain things that meet a criteria. So, for example, if a child doesn't go to school and has really poor attendance, there is a relationship between child maltreatment and non-attendance. It's always assumed as a safeguarding issue. If a child is not seen out in public, and we can't see them interacting or just being children, we start to question what is really going on. And a lot of the time, people that hide their children away have a hidden agenda. I'm not saying that this is actually happening, but I'm giving you the scope of what to look out for when it comes to child abuse. And child abuse can manifest through physical injuries, emotional distress, behavioural changes, and neglect, and often in children who appear fearful, withdrawn, or unusually anxious. So, there are physical signs of child abuse. We've got unexplained injuries, bruises, welts, cuts, burns, or fractures, especially in unusual patterns like handprints or belt marks. And you can get frequent injuries in various stages of healing, can indicate repeated abuse as well. Then there's also the emotional and behavioural signs of child abuse. So, children that are abused emotionally often display sudden changes in mood or personality, and that includes withdrawal, anxiety, depression, or apathy. They may also show extreme behaviours such as being over-compliant, aggressive, or acting inappropriately. And then we've got neglect. And this is where neglect comes in my head with these children. Because when I see these kids being posted online, I don't think they look clean. And this is where neglect comes into my mind with regards to the children. If we're looking at the children's clothing and their hygiene, there is a red flag there. Lily often displays unwashed hair, unbrushed hair, and is barely clothed. She's never really got shoes on. However, we don't get to see a full picture of this child, so it is difficult to determine what is really going on. But other signs of neglect are lack of supervision, malnourishment, poor hygiene, inappropriate clothing for weather, which has also cropped up, and frequent absences from school. Also, children that may appear consistently tired, hungry, or unsafe. Now, there are other signs of abuse which I won't go into, but you probably know what I'm talking about. Now, with these kids, what does flag up to me is the neglect aspect. And because we don't see them outside and we don't see them in a natural habitat and a natural environment, you do start to wonder, is their safety at risk? Are they getting a well-rounded childhood? Now we're going to look at the impact of not having your extended family in your children's lives. And there was actually a study conducted which gives us a bit more of an insight into what actually happens. So the objective of the study was to explore the role of extended families in child rearing practices across different cultures. And it was quite a large set of data, and they analysed four main themes: so daily involvement, cultural beliefs and practices, and comparative perspectives on nuclear versus extended family roles. And extended family members were found to provide substantial support in daily childcare responsibilities, emotional support, discipline, practical assistance, and health and safety. Also, cultural beliefs are significantly influenced child rearing practices, with extended families playing a crucial role in transmitting traditions, value, and language. Participants highlighted both the benefit and challenges of extended family involvement, noting the importance of emotional support and the difficulties of managing conflicts and generational gaps. Also, personal experience underscored the positive and negative aspects of extended family dynamics and the coping strategies employed to navigate these relationships. By the end of the study, the conclusion was that there is a vital role of extended family members in child rearing practices across all different cultures. Their involvement offers emotional, practical, and cultural support and enhances children's development and family cohesion. Now, these children haven't got that at all. They don't have the social cohesion, they don't have the family cohesion, they don't have the cultural support, they don't have this for their emotional development. They have neither side of their family interacting with these children. Who is interacting with these children? Because parents alone are not enough. Sometimes there isn't a choice, and you will have a wider community to help you, friends, institutions. But if you have the family, why not use that for the growth of your child? What we are seeing here is a real isolation of these kids. And what is the damage being done here? What is the damage being caused by isolating these children? Isolating children can lead to serious emotional, cognitive, and social consequences, including increased anxiety, depression, impaired learning, and long-term mental health challenges. Children who are isolated often experience loneliness, anxiety, depression, and social deprivation activates the body's stress response. It releases hormones that keep the child in a heightened state of vigilance, which over time can negatively affect mental and physical health, including risks of cardiovascular issues and cognitive decline. Social withdrawal can also stem from overprotective parenting. Hold on a minute. Who is overprotecting their kids? Who is keeping them away and locking them away from the world? It's not healthy. Also, neglect can come from high criticism, which may exacerbate feelings of unworthiness and fear of rejection. Also, isolation can impair cognitive development and academic performance. Children learn through interaction. They learn through interaction and through play with peers and adults. And a lack of social engagement can hinder problem-solving skills, communication, and learning momentum. And studies have shown that socially isolated children often perform worse academically and may struggle with attention, memory, and executive function. So social skills are shaped through peer interactions. We know this. They need that one-to-one. They need to have a scope of people in their lives to work out how people behave. Isolated children do become anxious in social settings and struggle to form friendships and feel excluded, which can often lead to long-term difficulties in navigating social situations. And it will impact their emotional regulation and their coping strategies. The problem is, if this isolation continues, there is going to be long-term risks. So, prolonged isolation in childhood is linked to higher risks of depression, suicide, and yes, wait for it, substance abuse in adolescence and adulthood. Chronic illnesses can significantly increase, and the odds of suicidal thoughts and behaviours come into play. Social exclusion is mainly associated with mood disorders and impaired social functioning. The issue we've got here is nobody is going to intervene these walls of Montecito because nobody has access to them. They have isolated themselves as adults and in turn have isolated their children. Having early intervention is crucial, but we don't have the access to the kids. Nobody has access to the kids. Even the king doesn't have access to the kids. And it is so unfortunate because if this continues, if they are kept as a secret and locked away, what is going to become of their mental health? How are they going to survive in the real world? The longer this continues, the more worrisome it is. I do believe there is something untoward going on here. Keeping your kids away from everyone is not the answer. They need interaction. They need a normal childhood. It's very clear in the safeguarding policy that unbrushed hair, not being dressed properly, and not being clean, and wearing clothes that do not suit the season can be signs of neglect. Children that do not show basic hygiene shows that there is a lack of basic care and attention to their needs, and it can indicate that they're not being looked after adequately. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Because we don't have access to the characters of these children, we can't pick up on any other signs of abuse. We can't see that. But what we can see is there is an issue here. Now, I know these children have different pictures all the time. They're reused pictures. They're not always necessarily the same children. So we are in a bit of a tough situation as to getting to the bottom of what's really going on. But there is a red flag here. There really is a red flag. You cannot keep these children away from the world forever.